I think in terms of my feminism, I see community psychologists, the values that guide community psychology, the theories that guide it are so compatible with feminism and that the clinical felt like harder to figure out how that could fit.
Yeah.
So sort of for the clinical, feminism felt more like a rebellion. Community felt like such a fit with sort of my sense of wanting to work toward change and be a psychologist.
Can you unpack that a little bit more so that, kind of explain why that is such a good fit in terms of feminism?
Well, it's a good fit in some funny ways because certainly at that point in time, the fit hadn't been articulated. But community psychology is very much comes from a systemic, very multi-leveled analysis of what leads to human suffering, human problems, social problems, a real focus on addressing social issues, and a real move away from a focus on pathology and thinking about people's strengths. And those are all really core values or concepts in community psychology, and I think they're core values for me in my version of feminism, core values of feminism. And looking at the way that the power distribution in society affects human relationships, I think it's central to both in really big and really important ways. So,
but yet that wasn't really acknowledged in the early history.
It really wasn't, and it wasn't. Well, that's the article that Anne Mulvey and I wrote. It was ironically, it oddly, not a part of those early days of community psych. Community psych was really formed as a field at a very similar time to the Division 35. But partly it was because of where I was. I mean, I was in a department where there was a community psychologist. I mean, I could sort of embrace this field. But community psychology, I feel to me like it should have been more feminist from the get-go. And that's one of the things that a number of us early on were talking about, how there's good feminist work being done in the field of psychology. And there's a community psychology which embraces values that are very compatible. Why are these two not connected? But I stuck more with community psychology because, partly because I think that a lot of the, not all, but I think the AWP and some of those efforts were, it seemed to me, from my vantage point, more clinically oriented, and I was moving away from clinical and seeing it and moving into thinking about intervening in sort of communities and since then I've moved on to thinking more about organizations and community. That's sort of where I've moved with my community psych background. So community psychology just was the field that really resonated for me in terms of values, about justice, about how to address social problems. It gave me an academic place and set of theories to do the work that I wanted to do.